So Barnabas sees your technology and is like, "What the fuck?" And you look at Durgadin and you kind of have the same. Are you more fascinated, or are you more like intimidated, or anything?
I would say it's kind of like when it comes to being like a science person, um the con like Victor has spells in big quotes because they're not spells.
Artificer,
Um
yes.
yeah, they're straight up I made a tinker thing and then the tinker thing does tinkery things and it does spell effects, but they're not spells. So the fact that sentient items totally legit. But the fact that it was a person that's weird.
It's not
That's
usual.
fair.
That's true.
I'm used to objects that can talk, but ones that weren't used to be people, weird.
All right.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go ahead and jump over to the post game because I would like to have Jen do her part quickly so that she can go off and either be ready to go to the dental appointment or be ready to cancel the dental appointment. So we are switching over right now.
I think that's a good place to leave it.
Fault. I discovered literally today that my husband has a physical. He discovered today too that he has a physical tomorrow at the same time as the dental appointment.
Ooh, good times.
And we have one car.
Even better times.
It's
And it's
so
definitely
good.
not a drive off somewhere, drop somebody, get back afterwards.
That's
is it?
basically what's going to happen if I can't
Can't what?
change my time because we're both scheduled at 2 and the dental appointment is kind of right around the corner, but his physical is kind of way down there. So I'll be sitting at the dental appointment with my Switch for quite a while if I don't manage to move it. So
Good luck.
Fair enough.
so good.
Jen.
And they called me. It's like, do you need to move it? And like I read the thing and like I didn't have to move it until I discovered, at like 6 o'clock at night that we had a
Typical.
problem.
Jen, do you want
Typical.
to do the thing you had fun with and the person you want to give kudos to?
I absolutely love I can't say her name. That's one of the reasons I
Okay, so Vic
War.
to War.
Okay.
War.
I'm going to remind you what I remind my husband. I took Japanese, not French,
Accurate.
and that really messes with my ability to speak.
It's
French.
Victoria with
Victoria.
with Aurea like reversed. So you can use Victoria, that's fine.
Yeah. Vic. I'm gonna call her
Vic is
Vic.
fine too.
It's so bad.
Do
I
not call
was
me
actually
Vicky.
trying to think about like how I could sound it out like in Japanese. Like I'm like, it's so bad. Like I'm not good at French at all. It does not come out of my
Victowaru?
mouth right.
Like, it didn't land, but Vicky
Vic-
was a little cute.
Hikatowaru.
It was
Something along those
cute,
lines.
but like my brain immediately went icky Vicky.
Yes.
Like
But it's so
immediately.
good.
Oh, man.
Like, so Chip
like-
Scarlet.
That's a deep cut.
Like she has a really good personality starting out. There is definitely like it's not like you can tell that you put thought into it. A lot of
Yes.
thought and a lot of work into the way you're presenting this character. And it's really fun to roll into something like that. Especially since like Kretha got her accent like probably 5 minutes before I start playing with her because I thought it would be funny. And
It
it
is
is.
great.
It's hilarious. So fun. But yeah, no, I'm having a great time with that. I did not expect. I know that part of what's happening with Kretha, out of character, what's happening with Kretha is that it's a very large, intimidating person, and she is mirroring, the thing, the echolalia, where you kind of repeat people's words and actions, and so we've got Vic. We've got
it.
Vic, very hesitant and stumbly over words, and that's got whatever bit that Kretha is ever going. And Kretha's had stumbly over words. That's not a new thing, but it's magnified in the presence of this presence. Yeah, this is gonna be real fun.
Where can people find you, follow you, experience your artwork, which has been proliferate lately?
I have been working a lot. I am actually really happy because I now have 2 paintings one in a gallery and one in a museum.
Amazing.
Oh, dope. You got
On-
in?
I got in. I got into the Cameron. It's in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's the Cameron Museum of Art, and they do this thing called Art of the State of the Art / Art of the State, where you can go in and get juried in as a contemporary North Carolina artist. And they were hanging them as they did it. It's like bonkers, this operation.
It's so cool.
I love
It's
it. That
so
is
cool.
such good news.
It
That
makes
is
me very
amazing.
happy.
Folks,
It's
if you
like I
are
went
in...
from none to 2. That's so weird. But I am the Swedish Geek Ball on Twitch, on Facebook, on Twitter, Geekball. And then I have my Etsy store is the Winter Rose Art Shop. And I do have the Swedish Geek Ball as a Patreon. If you guys are interested in coming to my Patreon, you can if you want to get some art, there's the Digital Art Hub where you get a special, like it's a piece of art each month digitally, 5x7 that's specially made for that. Or there's the postcard one where it's actually a physical postcard that is made from a piece of art and printed.
And you have fan art for this game in there, right?
I'm working. Yeah, I actually last month Kretha was my postcard. Did you get that, Em?
Not yet. I'm waiting on it.
It's
The
so
mail
good.
is the mail.
Wait, you still haven't gotten it?
I might have gotten it. I do not bring the mail in my house, and then it goes places.
No, you need to ask them because I mailed it before you went on your trip.
Oh yeah, it
Then
should definitely be
I
there.
probably have it, and it's probably in my mail file that I have not looked at yet.
Okay. All right.
Jen, have a great night. Sleep well.
I will. Sorry about having to duck out.
Not
guys,
at all.
but I
Not
will
at
see you
all.
Hey,
later.
look, you are more important than the game. The players, the people, more important than the game. Be safe, be healthy.
Do teeth stuff. Yay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay, so folks, we don't have to be super structured right away. Let's get some reactions, and folks who are in chat, this is a great time to ask questions of me or the players, or to make observations, or to tell us what you liked about
Or
this
just talk
session,
shit.
or to just
have
talk
an
shit. We
have
love
an
interaction, and we love feedback. So let us know what worked and what didn't. We will respond to anything that you say, but for now, I'm not going to point to anyone in particular. Who's
Just
got...
point at someone on the screen, and we'll guess who you pointed to.
Oh, excellent. That one.
That one's definitely Jeff.
I was...
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. The hunt was great. The meeting with the Emerald Conclave was hilarious, and yeah, I halfway wanted to shout at them like you fucking owe us, but I wanted it to be Echo's show. But yeah, it was all great.
Man, I've been having that conversation in my head for like 3 weeks of like, what is Echo gonna say? What if they respond with this? Okay, then I'd say this, and then like I've been.
I'm personally amazed. I'm personally amazed that you did not use the phrase "sitting around with the thumb up your ass." Because I was like, please drop this. It's the one thing that I want to hear Echo say because it's correct. That didn't say it. It was right there.
That's not in my normal vocabulary, so it's
That's
why it
fair.
didn't come up.
That's fair. It's in my normal vocabulary because I live on the East Coast. So
But yeah, I was really also looking forward to the kind of quieter scene of Calder and Echo walking back from getting out of the arena and like having their prize and being like, okay, we're walking 2 blocks now, it's 3 blocks now, it's we're actually out, we did it, we got away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and Echo specifically, like he was holding on to the apology until they were somewhere where Calder could respond if he wanted to, and they come from very different backgrounds, but Echo cares a lot about Calder, and hopefully that's coming across in character.
The thing is that Jeff comes from a much closer knit family that does accept like physical displays of affection, but after like some really good long talks with him, Calder is trying to portray Calder as being a person who does not have a lot of physical affection in his life, so he is a little standoffish toward it. So like the little bit he reaches out is like a huge effort for him. So it baby steps.
I come from a family that isn't like touchy feely, or like part of it tries to be, and it makes the rest of us be like.
I'm just reminded of that gif from Gravity Falls where they go awkward sibling hug, pat pat.
That is my actual family. Pat pat.
I was a big fan of the clearing scene as well, the Emerald Enclave scene, because I love taking tropes and messing with them, right? I love taking the old powerful druid who is incredibly scary and intimidating, getting dressed down by a middle-aged goblin, which I love. It was great, and I wasn't sure exactly what to expect from that particular encounter, but I'm very happy with what we got. And it gave me a chance to dispense a little more of the sort of overarching plot that I'm beginning to weave together for this game, in theory.
Right? And hey, maybe we'll see someone from the Emerald Enclave in the north. Maybe?
And then we'll do a murder. It'll be fine.
I loved specifically Barnabas being like, wait, are we just not going to talk about the fact that she's chopping this body into little bits? And everyone's like, oh no, that's just adventurous stuff. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Like she said he deserved it. It's like
him, well, yes, but there's a difference between, like, Barnabas is like, okay, this person deserved to die, that's fine. There's a difference between they deserve to die and, being a dwarf, they deserve to have their body chopped into small pieces and separated. Like, that's what did it, not the murder bit. Barnabas is well acquainted with murder, but
so
like
mutilating the corpse after.
It's
that would be particularly taboo to dwarves.
The very cold and calculating way of dissecting a corpse in order to keep it from coming back. Like, the practicality is there, but you know, dwarves are more than just practicality. They're very, very morally, I guess, holier than thou in a lot of ways.
Well, they are holier than thou.
Some of them
they're fierce traditionalists.
Yeah.
Well, if that had been an NPC doing it, I would have asked for an insight roll, but, PvP
I mean, you could
roll.
give me an insight roll, I'll take it.
That would have been fine.
Do it. Roll the insight.
I just decided to play Echo as, like, nah, this seems weird, but he's getting the vibe that, like, this is all above board. This is fine.
like me as a player wants you to roll that insight check.
All right, let me see what it would have been.
Like, my read of it is, this is probably, like, not above board, but no one is going to be looking for this guy.
Echo believes everything's cool.
Wow.
This is fine.
Perfect.
I'll throw this one at you. Probably fine. Still a bit weird.
Yeah, no, still a bit weird, but Echo's used to rolling with weird.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Oh.
Wow.
Is that also bad?
No, you all can't see it, but
I rolled for the inside.
We got a 1 and a 20.
Okay. I mean, okay, for like the 20,
after the game is over.
I know the game's over, but like,
No, I know. I'm just being silly.
With a 20, insight-wise, you probably think that this is maybe a bit too vicious. Like there might have been personal beef between the two of them.
I definitely got that vibe. That was coming across loud and clear.
I did my job correctly. High five for me.
But it's more that Calder is like reading the situation as, this is probably like only like gray legal at best. But almost definitely, but is A, not my problem, and B, no one's gonna come looking for this fucker.
Ain't my problem. They ain't no monkeys here, anyways.
Exactly. So this it's like, you've killed people, Calder said atop his mountain of corpses.
Like, most of the people Calder kills, there's not a corpse left to mutilate. So like.
I'm just saying, Calder is very acutely aware that every single orc he bathed in acid had a family. So Calder is a monster, and he holds no breaks. It's just that what stripe of monster is yet to be determined.
He's a monster, you say.
We're still determining his stripes.
Oh man.
I want to say, like, before we get into like the second half, I loved the Calder has decided that he is going to hunt the hunters.
Yes.
That was fun. That was fun for me. I was eating chips with chopsticks during it because that's how I roll.
I could have done a roll there, but like you have magic at your disposal, including invisibility. So like I was just inclined to let it go. Yeah, that was awesome.
I have improved invisibility too, so I could just I could have just invoked it. I could have just invoked that, had it for an hour, and fucked with them to my heart's content.
Well, and I loved watching Jeff make the decision of, nah, Calder's gonna fuck with them. Like he was going
like this was definitely like
and tracking things down.
Like this was definitely a shift.
This is Calder's first definite step toward chaotic good. So
that's what I was thinking. This is definitely a step away from lawful for a Calder, and it was really fun to watch.
But yeah, there's no like a thing that's been agitated. There's just that takes all the fun out of it. This is like someone play acting and adventuring, and that offends him.
It turns out nobles are kind of jackasses in general.
Yes, I know.
Just like in real life.
Exactly. And so like indulging that, like doing that, like that like out of character bit of catharsis, like, oh, fuck these guys.
I also love that Calder, who knows about dinosaurs on Cholt and like knows what a mimic is, thinks that owl bears have a natural habitat.
A wizard did it.
Well,
a wizard did it.
Owl bears
are invasive species.
Like, yes, they're an invasive species, but
no, I love that. I love how he doesn't have an encyclopedic knowledge of everything. Like, yeah. I love that. Like, he sees the owl bear in the woods and just like, this is where they belong. It's great. I love it. He still has a little bit of naivete to him, and I like to see it come out.
Oh yeah. Especially like I'm really looking forward to when I finally deploy self-polymorph to turn into a dinosaur. That's going to be a bad day for someone.
It's going to be amazing. DD Vampire Lady says eat the rich, which I agree with.
That's agree. Like that would be why I want to turn into a dinosaur. Yes.
Aerosmith says there's only one thing that they're good for.
I want to clarify to eat the rich. You don't know what's in that. Compost the rich.
Hey.
That's true. You want to set up a proper filtering process. Exactly. Now that said, dress clean and properly filter and like properly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This bit's gone on long enough.
Who has extensively gone through LARP roleplay of cannibalism.
I'm just saying. I stand by my original joke of that is why I wanted to turn into a dinosaur. Correct.
Well, we kind of had a cannibalism joke where Barnabas was like, "What are we eating?" Well, looking at the sack of
okay. So Rob, the funny thing here is that in every single LARP roleplay, anything that I've ever been in, apparently, if I have been given the option to like go evil or some shit, I go directly do. So how do people taste though?
I hear it's pork like
I've been in LARPs where like it's D&D types, there's different species. I have straight up had a conversation with people be like, okay, but like, do halflings taste different than orcs though? Like, I gotta know. Every single time. So the fact that you brought up a cannibalism joke is kind of like, no, not again.
Well, I really liked Barnabas's little additions here and there. He wasn't in a whole lot of scenes, but like him being like noticing that Kretha was uncomfortable and being like, "You want to head downstairs?" And Kretha's like, "Yeah," like mumbling out the door, and I can just imagine Barnabas being like.
Barnabas, despite all appearances, makes an excellent straight man from a comedic standpoint.
Yes.
Yeah, he mostly just reacts. And I enjoy it a lot. Yeah.
He's like, dwarves are very, like, he's playing the proper dwarven king. His job is to sit on a fancy chair and react to problems. That's what dwarven kings do.
Not wrong.
Point of order, when Calder was like, stay here and guard the staff is in the bag of holding on Echo's back.
I didn't realize that.
Just
I didn't realize he
clarifying
stowed
for
I didn't know we stowed it in the bag. So
for audience, that is where I have as Echo.
then, like, we can amend it to the early sale of watch the cart, because we only have the one.
No,
Yeah.
I like this fact better. There's 2 bags of holding in play. One is in the cart. That is obviously the one with the staff in it.
I think both goblins are holding a bag of holding each.
I want to make it clear, by the way, that I have handed you all an awesome responsibility. I have given you 2 bags of holding, one of which could easily fit into the other. I have placed a great burden on your shoulders, because there may come a time
in the party right now. Actually,
You have given us an incidental tactical nuke. We are aware.
I was gonna say, we keep referencing it at this point, so it's turning from a joke into possible foreshadowing.
It might, and if it gets to that place, then I will pat myself on the back for being a genius. Or you all on the back for making it happen.
Like, you weren't going to do that anyway, so. But yeah, finally got to bust out Hypnotic Pattern, the 1 3rd level spell I haven't actually cast yet.
I have had a player character almost end a combat with a goddamn silver dragon with that spell. It had to burn a legendary resistance to keep from being just ended in the first round of combat. I had this whole, like, cutscene in mind, and this player was like, nah, Hypnotic Pattern. Thank God for that legendary resistance.
Yeah, it's one of those encounter ending spells.
It's an excellent spell.
It was a perfect upgrade to sleep.
What I didn't do, and what I will do the next time you use it, is I didn't ask you what it looks like, because Hypnotic Pattern is normally very bright and colorful, and I don't see Calder's Hypnotic Pattern being bright and colorful.
Oh no, I already have the idea.
Can I give you my canon for it?
What's that?
Okay, so you know when you're like not getting enough oxygen to your brain,
Sure.
and you get like those like sparkly polka dots that happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, in the darkness, that's actually pretty great.
Yeah, like it's just the like little tiny polka dots of darkness, because your brain just isn't getting enough oxygen, and it's like, we're gonna shut down the visuals because we can't right now.
I have ideas I do have ideas for how each of my spells manifest, including Hypnotic Pattern. And
excellent.
When I deploy it in combat, it'll be.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we all leveled up to 7. M's got a new 7, but like we haven't quite. There wasn't any combat, so we didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to show off these new skills.
True, not yet. Then there will be combat. We had a very combat-heavy session last time, so I'm pretty happy with having a full session without combat. Like, that's something that's to some DMs is a cardinal sin, but I don't believe in that. I want to do one more thing before I move on to what we had fun with and kudos.
I got like 3.
M, I would like you to reveal whatever you're comfortable with about your character's build, since this is a brand new character. We always try to talk about what class characters are.
I want to keep a lot of it secret.
But if you would rather move on to something else you want to talk about, that's fine. But you know,
I can talk about some of it. She is a battlesmith artificer.
Okay.
And the background that I picked is like a weird conglomeration smash of Phalos. Oh, side note, did not describe this. She has a dog tail.
Ah.
It was probably tucked up under a shirt or something.
It was probably but you know, it's gonna happen, and I figure
we'll notice it next time. Yeah, totally.
You'll find out. It's like it's a fluffy, like brownish timber wolf tail. So it hangs like straight down. It does not wag. So it's not like it's gonna be obtrusive. It has enough of a like static nature that if you ever saw any of those anime kids with a foxtail, it's like that. I was not one of those anime kids because I could not afford one, not because I didn't want one. So she's a battlesmith artificer, and Loop is her robot companion friend. So
Yeah, artificers are underrepresented and underrated, in my opinion.
I have like 15 different bonus actions, which is trash.
That's rough. That's rough.
It's like most of my stuff is bonus actions.
But yeah, like I love artificers so much. I feel like they bring a very different flavor to the game. Like to the point where, and it's funny because this is not the first time Barnabas has distrusted a new party member based on initial impressions.
Boom.
Yeah, he also kind of chucked an axe at Echo the first time that they met. At allegedly. Yeah, so I liked that you are bringing a level of technology that this sort of old school dwarf who knows how to make powerful items finds completely baffling. Like this is not a magical. He could
I love
an iron
that
golem he can square with, right? A magical construct he can square with, but a clockwork wolf is mind blowing.
It's definitely more in the direct, like it's not pure like clockwork. It's not clock punk. It's closer to like diesel punk.
Fair enough.
Or I mean, dare I say it? Like solar punk. Like it's not solar punk. No, fuck that's
Magic punk.
It's powered by nuclear fission, and because I said so.
I also love the gun reskin because the Iron Defender because guns exist in Faerun. There's an entire religion built around them.
Yes, but this is not that. And that's again.
This is not that. So it's even weirder, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's a gun, not a firearm.
Yes.
Yeah. Though fair enough. Yeah, like a blunderbuss would be unusual, but like not unknown.
Yeah.
Even the Church of Gond has a name for their firearms, and it's Gones. And that is as close as the word gets to gun.
Yeah. So like yeah, the conglomeration of backgrounds words. Wow. Is Noble, Fey Lost, and the like Far Wanderer one.
Far Travel? Something like that.
It's basically is like the quick and dirty is a noble from a very far off place got stuck in the Feywild for an unordinate number of time.
Thus the hard to answer the how old are you question.
At least 30. I liked that answer.
At least 30. So in my head she is in the like she is solidly human years wise solidly in like late 40s.
Yeah, so like as you said, the spinster age.
Yeah, like well, I mean, you can be a spinster at 29.
Yeah, it's like the unmarriable age, but like you're.
I am of an unmarriable age, and we're not talking about because of the fact that I do a hunt down of people and do murders.
I like that you used the term spinster specifically, which kind of hints at that noble heritage, which of course every PC in this almost has to some degree or another.
That's the joke.
I love it.
I traded off my my like scroll of pedigree for a really dope silver wolf mask.
It functions right?
I love Far Wanderer because the Far Wanderer benefit and the noble benefit is fucking identical.
Yeah.
It's like literally, it's you can find your way because the noble benefit is you can find your way to hobnob at noble things, meet with important people, and exist within your office as a fellow noble. And the Far Wanderer is you can hobnob with nobles, and people find you to be a social curiosity. You can find yourself in meetings with important people.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see Victoire. I've been rewatching Disenchanted. And there's a moment where the king, King Zog, meets a new woman who is a bear. And like she puts on the bear skin, and when she takes it off, she becomes human. And when she puts it on, she's more of a bear.
She's a bear selkie, yes.
And that's kind of, and she's very big, and she's not very sociable, and she like licks honey out of jars, although I don't think you're quite there. Maybe, I don't know. And I thought that was, I felt like that was a good comparison.
You got the
Well,
vibes.
Yeah, that's actually very close to the vibes. I've never seen Disenchanted, but it's very, very similar to the vibes that I was kind of going for, of like, this is a person that is basically a wild animal in a human skin.
And I like
They're trying so hard.
They are, and I love how it's feeding into this weird like anxiety, awkwardness feedback loop with Kretha, which Echo may or may not be interpreting correctly.
I personally love Echo's interpretation of like, no, I get it completely. I ship it. Actually, it's totally fine. And Kretha's like,
that is also Calder's response.
But
Calder's reading it as Kretha has the mother of all crushes and doesn't realize it herself. That's Calder's interpretation of it.
Yeah, and Echo is trying to figure out, is Kretha just intimidated by this person, and this is how she reacts to people she's intimidated by? Am I seeing Kretha's first crush happen in real time? And two, if it's not, then like, would you mind if I get in there and flirt or what?
Echo ships compulsively. Like the number of times Echo was like, "Wait, aren't Meepo? Wait, aren't they?"
That was Charlotte.
That was Charlotte. You're right. I am mixing up your characters.
It's Olivia Gale who is the chronic chipper here.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
I love that interaction between Echo and Kretha, where it was just like,
oh, this is one of those times when you get to, I as a DM get to just sit back, not say a damn word, and just let the awkwardness happen. And when the pauses happen, and this is something, Em, that I wanted to mention about your character specifically, which I really loved. You have this character who pauses for so long that other people rush to fill the void with voice. Like, there have been many times when you have been kind of in the middle of trying to say something, and another player or another character would jump in, and I love it. Like, it's clear that you are that's a thing that you're doing deliberately, and it's working very well.
It helps that I sometimes do that in human life.
Fair enough.
I figured instead of trying,
it's a teaching trick too. Like, I do it sometimes.
Full straight up disclosure. She has a negative modifier to charisma. Like, so it just, you live in the wild, you hunt monsters for a living, you think that I have charisma?
Because it won't actually tell us anything about the characters, can we get a glance at what your stat block looks like?
Oh, it is not a small stat block. I will tell you my highest and my lowest.
That's perfect.
All I'm going to give you. My highest is a 19.
Okay.
And it is intelligence.
Okay.
And my lowest is charisma, and it is a 9, but I'm thinking about dropping it to an 8.
Perfectly fine. That's great.
It's a nice, well, because obviously she's an inventor. She's a brilliant craftsperson. She,
I'm thinking about Belle's
I am
dad.
Strictly okay on a lot of things. Like my wisdom, I can't really tell directions. Like I can tell directions, but like gotta take a little bit to do it. I'm using intelligence to figure out the directions, not the wisdom. I can do a hit. I'm like pretty. I'm not super beefy, but I'm not beefy. And I could, if I wanted to, do a backflip, but I wouldn't do it.
I also feel like the crack about Calder like panting up the hill. I have a constitution of 14. What the hell?
Like now I have to actually open the thing. I gotta know what my con is.
Arm day, not leg day.
No, that was me more making a joke about because we leveled, Echo's base speed is 45 now, so everyone seems real slow in comparison.
And Kretha was riding on Stinky, whose base speed is 40. So like you were definitely even sprinting, falling behind.
Calder's not a bad athlete. He's just running around with
He's just
like 2
slow.
Usain Bolts. So like
And
Is the board still
before he
up?
It should be, yeah.
Okay, it's just
so it
being
doesn't
slow.
escape. So it doesn't escape my memory. I love this level 1 adventurer that we have tasked with a very obnoxious mission. I would love like little moments to check in on him later because that sounds fun.
As a side note, one of my previous thought characters was Daydreams at Midnight, a Tabaxi bard. So I'm just gonna assume that that's that character.
I just said Tabaxi because speed
makes
wise
sense.
Tabaxis are really good and sneaky and can...
I was actually talking a joke concept with a roommate last month, and it was I want to make a Tabaxi who's a brilliant performer of the lute, but believes that he is a brilliant singer, and he is not.
The yowling cat stereotype. Yes.
Literally, I want to say, I will sing you the song of my people, and the song gets him thrown out of buildings, but when he plays the lute, that he strums sadly, everyone gathers around him. But it never sinks in that's
lovely.
So it's beginning to get a little bit late for me.
Yeah,
so
I'm good here.
Let's go ahead and we've talked about a lot of things that we loved. So let's take the last little roundabout, and really quick, I do want specific kudos from players to players. We've already talked a lot about what we had fun with, so we can skip that part. Why don't you tell me each what is a player character action that you particularly enjoyed, and go ahead and give your pluggables, and we will start this time with Gail.
It's been said before, but I just have to really pour the love on that I'm loving Jen's roleplay decision of awkward Kretha feedback loop. I think it's going to keep happening and keep being adorable and wonderful, and I love that she played the character so flustered that she's like, yeah, this is Durgadin, and just drops this very important lore thing, and thank goodness history doesn't understand the significance of it, but I'm really loving the choice and the execution of flustered Kretha, and it was very enjoyable to watch.
Where can people find your artwork, Gail?
On a Tumblr called A Measure of Separation. It's misspelled. I'll type it into the chat. It's mostly stuff about Echo and Barnabas because, again, I ship a lot. But, some other stuff on there.
M, what's someone you want to give a kudo to?
Oh, I'm
testing out kudos.
Kudos, I can live with kudos. Sorry, I just got 1,000 pop-ups suddenly happened.
Do you want to skip to Jeff and
sorry, make Jeff go while I deal with these. Sorry.
Jeff, you go. What's someone you want to give a kudo to?
I would have to be Gail with for Echo's meeting with the Emerald Conclave, because that was just personally satisfying, because my hunt was entirely a self-indulgent personal goal, but that was all about stomping down but Echo took the time and effort to arrange a personal goal, basically to tell the Emerald Conclave to go fuck themselves, and I appreciate that, because the Emerald Conclave should go fuck themselves. So
no, and I loved we had these three, because each of you had a brush with one of the main big factions, social factions in Waterdeep, right?
Yeah.
The House of Lords, the Emerald Conclave, and specifically Bregendarth. And all three of those conversations went very differently, and I really enjoyed it. There was a chance, Echo could have become a member of the Emerald Enclave if he had cared to, but he did not care to, and I appreciate that.
I think at this point he'd be more willing to join the Xanathar's Guild.
It's an option.
That does remind me of something very, very important. I'm going to have to ask your help with this, Scale, of designing Calder's next look, and I want to incorporate an owlbear
into it
somewhere.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Jeff, where can people find your artwork and follow you?
I am recently returned to Instagram and TikTok at Still Tired and Angry, where I post art and time lapses of my art. And of late, I have been doing a lot of fun experiments with lighting and color, because I'm just trying to expand my skill set, because I'm still learning a bunch of shit. So it's a lot of fun.
Em, how we doing?
Okay, we're doing better. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
also like
I
34
was like,
people shy of 1,000.
I was looking at like maps to figure out which continent on Toril that she probably came from, and I'm looking at Anchorome is probably likely the one.
Outside of this particular continent, my knowledge is very sparse.
It's the one to the west of this continent across some ocean. It is on the map called Unknown Lands.
I'm pretty sure I've had a player character from roundabout there at some point.
There's a couple of different continents called Unknown Lands, though, so who knows? But no, my honest favorite part was probably the fact that Kretha kept like progressing the very awkward conversation that happened between like everyone.
Yeah, I like when I know that a conversation is winding down, I tend to jump in and start doing some narration. But in that case, I knew that she would just keep saying words if I let it go, and I feel like the bit went perfectly long enough. And
like,
normally that kind of
just long enough that it starts feeling uncomfortable, and that's the correct length.
Yeah, that kind of like awkwardness isn't always something I enjoy, but in this case, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And where can people find you and follow you and experience your gaming?
I am a once over key on all of the things. Sometimes I do art. Sometimes I don't do art. Sometimes I talk about doing art and then don't do it because I talked about it, and that counts for the sake of the dopamine.
Food.
Right. I'm on the Twitters. I'm on the Facebooks. I am on the Instagrams. I post usually pictures of my face on Instagram or art. Like this. I do this type of art.
It's a great face. So
I appreciate you, Kistrel. Thank you for being here.
I stream Tuesdays before this show, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Rob and I we're doing kind of like a co-stream of Tiny Tooners Wonderlands right now, so that's pretty dope.
Oh, it's such a fun game.
Sometimes do makeup for it. Heck yeah. It takes an hour to do that makeup. Please come in and tell me I look pretty.
And I mean I gotta give kudos to everybody. Every scene was amazing in this. Again, it's a very special group that can hold a really good and really intense game without combat, because combat tends to stretch things out, right? Combat is a very dramatic 1 to 3 hours depending on how long it takes. But like keeping a game going for 3 hours without having combat is a mark of a very, very talented group of players, and I appreciate that a lot. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and Patreon at Math Demigod, and you can find the VOD of this very campaign along with some other gaming that I do at youtube.com/gamingmathematically. And yeah, my stream schedule is also Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tuesdays alternate between this right here and whatever grab bag of games that I want to play. Currently playing Portal. I play Tiny Tina's Wonderlands with 1 silver key on Saturdays, and I play Skyrim on Sundays, which is more of a story game that I have going.
Play Wilder Myth.
I'm sorry?
Play Wilder Myth.
I should probably play Wilder Myth at some point. I agree. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. I've just checked. We don't really have anybody to raid, so we're just going to go ahead and say goodnight. Viewers, say goodnight to the players. Players, say goodnight to the viewers. Take care, friends. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.